Hi, and welcome to episode 20 something. We're not sure which episode this actually is. In this episode, we're interviewing Tanumihardja and Shiho Pate. They are the author, Pat is the author, and Shiho is the illustrator of Ramen for Everyone. Super cute picture book.
Yeah,
And
this is
this was a fun interview.
yeah, this was super fun. I really enjoyed both of them. They're so lovely and fun,
Yeah.
and the
And
book is awesome. And it has some recipes in the back, which you guys are gonna love. We talked
yes,
about, the usual, how they got their agent and all that, which are really good. I like to ask a question from all the authors and illustrators that come because every journey is completely different. But there's a
yeah.
lot of good nuggets and a lot of good ideas on marketing. So if you're into marketing, this was a good episode to listen to.
And they're a
Yeah.
really good team. I liked
Yes.
learning that because not every author and illustrator get to actually get to know each other or even really work together a whole lot or even meet each other. And they've actually met each other and they both have input on marketing. And so yeah, it was really fun interview and
Yeah.
very
Their energy was super
informative.
cool. They were a lot of fun
Yes.
together.
And it's a super cute book. Really, really cute.
It is. It is. I really like this one. All right, that's it. Then we'll get into it. Hi, Pat. Hi, Shiho. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, thank you for having us on your show.
You.
And we're looking forward to. We read your book, and it's beautiful. I'll start with the illustrations
Oh
are,
yes.
oh my gosh,
Oh,
they're breathtaking. they're so fun. You guys have
Beautiful.
the book that you can hold up for the video if you want to show or share some pages on the cover.
oh, I don't know. Let me
You gotta
see.
put, I think,
Oh,
right in front of
that's
you since
okay.
you have a blurred
There you go.
background.
Right from my
Yeah,
face. There we
it
go.
is
And it's
ramen for.
called,
Go ahead, Sunny.
oh, sorry. It's
No,
called
no, go ahead.
Ramen for Everyone.
All
Super
right.
cute.
You should see the back as well. The back is also super cute. Can you see it?
No,
Can
you
you
gotta
hold
put
it a
it
little
closer.
closer?
Shiko, can you hold
That's
it?
it.
There it is. Oh, there
No,
it's
because of your
oh,
blurred background, we cannot see it.
Oh no.
it's
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Shiho's
There we go.
reaching for
There
it.
we
There we
can see
go.
it now. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Oh, beautiful. That is so
Oh,
cute.
I love it.
I love that the dog gets stone ramen.
Yeah, the dog gets to eat as well.
So
His
cute.
name is Sushi, by the way.
It's
Oh,
my fish during college. I had a fish, and his name was Sushi.
oh,
Very
Oh,
cute. But I loved him so much that every time I went to visit my family, I would take him in the car and strap the seatbelt on his little fish tank and take him with me.
oh my God,
So
that's so
love
funny.
that fish. All right.
I love that.
We're gonna start asking you some, the typical questions that we always do. What inspired this book? Because sometimes the weirdest thing inspired us. But we know you, Pat, that you are you write cookbooks, so maybe it wasn't much of a stretch to write for children. But can you tell us the inspiration behind this book?
Well, so um well, I started writing kid lit before I started writing cookbooks actually. So
Oh,
this was like what,
Oh,
2003, 2004. But even though I was going for like courses and workshops and and I felt like I was improving as a writer, I wasn't getting any traction in the kid lit publishing world. So I decided that I was going to focus on, food, travel, and culture writing. And eventually I got a cookbook deal published in 2009. So that was the first of my four cookbooks. But when I had my son, I started reading children's books again, and it rekindled my love for kidlit, and I realized again that why I wanted to write for children. And it just reminded me of these reasons, and I just kind of rekindled my passion for it again. And well, like you said, I am a cookbook author, so my whole life revolves around food. And I really wanted to write a children's book that had a food element to it because food is such a universal topic.
yeah.
And at the time, this was like what I think I first got the idea 2007, 2008 maybe. And there were a lot of ramen shops popping up here, there, and everywhere. And I was also writing a lot about ramen. And I thought, why not write a about a boy who loves to eat ramen and also wants to make the perfect bowl of ramen. So that was the seed of ramen for everyone. And the story went through many, many, many reiterations before it was finally bought in 2019. So, so
Wow.
2007 to 2019, that's
12
what,
years.
12 years.
Wow.
But I mean, like I wasn't working on it constantly, but you know, that it's started in 2007. So,
But I
and
love that
so,
you touched on it took many revisions, many versions for it to be what it is now.
mhm,
Because a lot of people think it's
yes.
like quick, one off, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look at my laptop and you see how many folders and how many different versions there are, it's crazy. Yeah. So
Wow.
We joke about that because I don't know how to name my revisions. I'm really bad about that. So sometimes I'll name it one thing and it'll be a number, and then it'll be a date, then it'll be a totally different name.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm the same way too. It took me a while before I figured out exactly how I should name. Like it was somebody who told me that, you know, this is how they do it in the archival world or somewhere. So you write the date and then the name of the file and then the draft number. But I am still confused, like how, you know, if you work like 5 minutes on one story on one day and then the next day you work on it again, is that still the same draft or is it a
Oh.
different, right? I have
Right.
no idea.
And then what if
Yeah.
only a couple of words change from draft to draft? Do you still save it one
Mhm.
more time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I guess you know you do what you do, you right. So, however you feel it should be. So,
And Shiho, we're going to ask you about your art journey. You know, what brought you to this moment that you're illustrating. You illustrate quite a few books, and I believe are you an author illustrator as well? Because
No,
of the no.
aspire. Well, people say that when you write, that's when you can say yourself, like title yourself as author illustrator, but I'm not published yet, but aspiring, I guess.
she
But
has
you,
lots of great ideas. She's told me about them, some of them. So,
I love
fingers
that.
crossed.
Yeah, I can talk about my art journey a bit. So I came to America during my high school years. I'm Japanese, so um and I went to art college, and after I graduated, I needed a full-time job for my visa reasons. Um so I got a full-time job as a game artist in New York. So I was doing that for like almost 10 years. And then
Wow.
I had my daughter. And then we moved to California. So I was still freelancing game artist, but game art stuff. But I really wanted to expand my career to doing children's books. So when I was in New York, I was, going to, 3x3 magazine, Nuts and Bolts conference, and all that kind of stuff, and to understand the children's book industry and to connect. And I finally, after moving to California, I wanted to really focus on getting an agent. And then I finally, after getting an agent, I finally feel like I could really call myself a children's book illustrator. So since then, with my agent, I got these book done so far. So that's kind of been like a short version of my art journey.
What the since you already mentioned your agent, you mind telling us how you found an agent?
Yeah, it was through my illustrator friend, actually, or I wouldn't call him my friend because he's like a mentor, like um but yeah, I was, again, when I was in New York, I just wanted to learn about children's books. So I contacted this illustrator, and I didn't even ask about the agent. And he was like, I have two that I have in mind, but let's go with the one that's less intimidating, because I get nervous and worried all the time. So I was like, let's go with the nice one first. And luckily, I'm with Deborah Warren at East West Literary Agency. And she was nice to, email me back and be like, okay, when you move to California, we're going to have a lunch and then we're going to look at your portfolio. So
Oh,
that's kind
wow.
of how it happened.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
lovely. My gosh. Yeah, don't mention who the not the nice one is. That way you never know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there's
don't
one
burn
out
your
there that
bridges.
is not nice. We just will never know.
No, it was more like, you know, the New Yorker type where it's like very direct and, you know, some people want that. And I think I was going to mention about the agent, like you really have to look at their personality and the match. And if it doesn't match, it really would destroy your career and your passion in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so glad that my illustrator mentor was like really focusing on personality and match first more than like the portfolio or what books they help get published. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
That's really cool.
And you're very lucky that you had a mentor, a friend mentor. That's we always say this that this journey is not done alone. You have to have people helping you out.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm forever thankful.
Pat, since we're talking about agents, did you have an agent when you started getting the book deals for the cookbooks or for this one, or you found an agent because of the books?
I do have a cookbook agent, but she doesn't represent my children's books.
Oh.
So Ramen for Everyone was actually not the first manuscript that I sold. So the first manuscript I sold was actually a biography of the shoe designer Jimmy Choo. And it's kind of interesting how I got my agent for, you know, because so I was attending the Quelly conference in New York City. I don't know if you know about it, but the Quelly conference for children's literature is geared specifically for diverse authors.
Oh.
And I think, and they do have, I believe they have illustrators as well. So they have tracks for illustrators as well. So I had a conference with editor Phoebe Ye of Crown Books, and she really liked my manuscript, and she told me to submit it to her after the conference. So with that in mind, I started looking for an agent, telling them like, oh, you know, I have an editor interested in my manuscript. Would you like to represent me? And so I went around looking for agents, and an editor, well, she's no longer a children's book editor, but somebody I met who at the time was a children's book editor, I had met her through a writing workshop, and she and I somehow, you know, got talking, and she said, you know, she would recommend a couple of agents to me. And so she gave me, you know, a couple of people she thought would be suited for me and my work. And my current agent, Taule, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, with Sandra Dykstra agency. So she's now my agent, but so Tao was one of the agents that I approached, and she very quickly came around and said that she wanted to represent me. So that's how I found her. It's also basically, you know, recommendations. So yeah, but I mean, that's probably like, I don't know, around goodness knows how many of looking for agents before, you know, before all this happened. I had also submitted my manuscripts for, you know, consideration to several different literary agencies and just didn't get anywhere. So yeah.
Perseverance,
Cool.
huh?
Yeah, perseverance, definitely. You need a lot of perseverance and thick skin in this industry, I think.
I know. It is a hard industry
you
when
know,
you keep hearing the no. It's just, it gets to you.
yeah, it is. But you know, in the end, we all do it because we love what we do, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you're in it for the fame or the money, like you quickly decide that, you know, it's not something that you can stick with. So
That's true, because the
yeah.
money comes in and it's not a huge amount because,
No,
you know, when
it's
you
not.
actually compare it to the amount of work that goes into the book,
Mhm.
so that kind of fades. But then
Yeah,
the
sometimes
excitement of seeing it out there.
sometimes you think about it, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting paid pennies per hour. It's like, oh my
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. And especially for the illustration, like when we know how long that
Oh
takes.
my gosh, you
Oh
guys
my
have
goodness.
so much work. It's crazy.
Yeah. Pat, since this is your debut book, were you surprised about the editing process? Well, you had already edited many times before you even got to this, but once it got picked up and you actually had an editor on board, how was that?
Well, I was actually surprised at how little editing she actually
Really?
did.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if I was just really lucky with this particular manuscript and with this editor, or whether, it's all the hard work that I put into it before that paid off. So, but I'm sure every book is different, right? So, we'll see when when future books come around. We'll see how it goes. But yeah.
Well, I
yeah.
think 12 years of you self-editing probably.
And my critique groups, critique partners as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
So those 12
Oh,
years, it must have been so frustrating to go like, I think it's ready, and somebody telling you, no, it's not ready. Or how did you like you have to have some self-control not to send it before it's ready.
Well, I think at the back of my mind, I always kept in mind the fact that it's never anything personal, because publishing in general is so subjective. You may have a fabulous manuscript, but if you still haven't found the right editor and publishing house, it's not going to get published. So I knew that eventually I would find the right person to publish my story. So I just kept hoping and kept holding out for that. And that's how I kept myself going. And I had other projects going on with my cookbooks and my food writing. So I tried not to let it get me discouraged. I just persevered, and my critique group and my community of writer friends just gave me support, and we all commiserate on how hard it is, and how many rejections we get. So you don't feel like you're alone and trying to work through it by yourself.
Oh, that's so true.
I think that's so important, having a good
Mhm.
critique group.
Yeah, it is very.
Did you get to see? I'm sorry, you want to take this one?
Oh no, go ahead.
So,
That's fine. You can go ahead.
Did you get to see any of the illustrations when they were happening? Did you get to have any feedback for Shiho?
Yeah, well, so I got to see the drafts before they were colored in, as well as when it was colored. And my editor, our editors, Sophia, was like, hey, if you see anything that you think needs to be changed, or you have questions, just feel free to ask. Don't be. She was like, yeah, don't worry about it, just ask. And I mean, I was like totally blown away at what an amazing job Shiho did, and she added so much more to my story as well. So things that I could not have imagined on my own. So I think maybe I only had one minor concern. There's a spread. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, show us. You should be showing us the. Shiho, open the pages.
About this. Oh my god.
You can show. I think it's like less than 10%. Oh, it's not gonna show. You have the blurred
It's
background.
kind of showing. We can see
Oh,
it.
there we go.
So on this page, Shiho's not Shiho, sorry. Hiro's dad, Hiro's the protagonist. He is shredding seaweed, strips of seaweed. And I was like, I said to Sophia, that's a lot of seaweed. But Sophia's like, oh no, it's okay, considering how much food he's cooking in all the other spreads, that amount of seaweed is gonna be fine. It blends right in. So I was like, okay.
Did we discuss what the book is about? I know we said the title, but we didn't. I don't know if we said like a brief
Okay, yeah,
description,
So,
just for people who are listening.
Okay, so the name of the hero is the protagonist, and he loves eating ramen. So he loves ramen with the shoyu egg on top, with seaweed, with chashu, which is the braised pork. And so his dad makes ramen for the family every Saturday, and he learned how to make ramen from his dad, Hiro's grandfather. So there comes a day where Hiro decides that he wants to be the one to make the perfect bowl of ramen. So he, cooks together with his dad, and he has high hopes of making a really good bowl of ramen. But cooking takes experience and time and practice. So his first round, the noodles are all soggy. He spills stuff on the floor. His soup doesn't taste really good, and he gets really discouraged. But then he realizes that cooking for family is not just about nourishing them physically, but also as an act of love.
Yeah.
I love that.
He realizes that he knows his family really well, so he's able to pick out what they love to eat and put it on this bowl of ramen. So it's not exactly perfect. Each bowl of ramen is not exactly perfect, but it's perfect for each member of his family. So it's a story about love and family ties, and also perseverance and not giving up.
Shiho, I noticed there was a page, and and I should have it pulled up, but there was a page that had a couple noodles on it. Was it the page when, is it in the recipe section, or was it when Hiro was making, redoing the recipes for his family and like customizing them?
I have it pulled up here. I'm looking for.
Yeah, I just remember seeing a cup of noodles, and I was like, that's so cool, because then kids can, you don't have to make your ramen from scratch. You can just like spruce up your the instant cup or whatever. I thought that was adorable.
Trying to think where.
Oh,
I should have had it pulled up.
It's when it says about ramen, it's all the way on the left.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so it was in the back
matter.
Yeah. Okay.
That's work, not
me.
me.
The noodle cup right at the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it, but
all the way on the bottom.
this blurry thing is like.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
She has it on the screen, but I appreciate the hands when the way they're holding the knife, the way that the attention to detail in your illustrations are. I love it. It's detail that is so energetic, and it's almost like a comic book.
There's a lot of movement.
Yeah, there's so much action in it. My favorite page. I'm not giving anything away from the book, but my favorite page is when he tries to do his noodles, and it's just thwack, thump, bump, and the way the hands are, I can hear it, and I can see the mushy, lumpy thing that is happening. It's beautiful.
I appreciate you saying that, because I feel like I got lucky because my daughter's 8 years old, so it's about Hiro's age, and we cook a lot. So I'm so glad you mentioned about the hand on the knife, because as a mom, I'm like, cat paws. So it's definitely an inspiration for my house. And then all the hand movements, I kind of watched what my daughter does with, we don't make ramen noodles, but we make pasta noodles. So just watching her hands and sketching it, that was so fun. So I'm so glad you noticed that detail. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why publishing houses choose the correct illustrator for each book. And it's not just about knowing the culture, but like really being part of the whole experience, because we can bring more to the book that way. I love them. I love this book.
It's so funny because like when I was talking to Sophia, like we just connected over the love for ramen, and like the email chain started to like not be about work anymore, but like all about ramen. And it was just so funny to see that, like, like Pat was saying, like food brings us together, and it's all about love, and it's just so fun, like to connect on a different level other than work with an editor. And it was so fun.
Sophia actually, so there's a recipe at the end of the book as well, and Sophia, she actually cooked that recipe.
She did.
That was like one of the first things she did. Yeah, after she bought the manuscript. So.
Did she
I am gonna have to cook one.
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
We
That's cool.
did.
That is really neat. Well,
Um,
so it sounds like there was a really good relationship between the editor and the author and illustrator, and you
Mhm.
guys created
Yeah.
a beautiful book
It
from
was
that.
definitely a synergetic or
Yeah,
synergistic relationship.
that's cool.
So Pat, I have to ask, yeah, we were
Mhm.
talking about some marketing things before the podcast, but if when we get together with the group for our a book signing or whatever event we can do, help me find a
Mhm.
good noodle house. I want to try these recipes and I want to because I'm more Hispanic food and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I am salivating outside. I'm reading this. I gotta try this stuff. So yeah,
Well,
please.
so one of my ideas for a launch event is actually to have an event at a ramen shop here in
Oh,
Northern
fun.
Virginia. So I have a favorite ramen place that I like to go to, but I don't think it's going to be suitable for an event. So my family and we have been doing some ramen restaurant hopping just to find, a good,
It's research.
it has to be the right
Yeah,
atmosphere.
research.
Yeah, research.
That would be a fantastic idea to do it in a good restaurant. Oh, I lost track of where we were. We're talking about food. Now I'm like,
Marketing,
Marketing, yeah.
actually marketing. That would be, yeah, that's a big. Sorry, go ahead.
Our publisher had a long list of ideas. I cannot remember what was on it right now, Shiho. Do you remember what Sophia had sent us? I think there was a lot of like sending our book to bloggers and stuff.
Yeah. So there's two genres for marketing, right? And I'm new at this and I'm learning as we go. So there's marketing from the publisher side, and the marketing from author illustrator side, right? So we already got a marketing plan for Simon or Athenium, which is kind of like what Pat was saying. So being into, I don't know how much detail we can go into this, but so into bloggers, social media influencers, awards. There's specific list of awards that they are talking about. Librarians, and this is selected as, what was that? Oh God,
A junior library guild. Is that
there
right?
you go.
Yeah.
So that's an automatic like marketing for the librarians, which is awesome. So that was a list from Sophia, which was nice. And then Pat and I did a Zoom call like a month ago.
It was
talked about how we can collaborate to do marketing. So obviously the book events, like book launches. We also talked about social media stuff, like we're talking about doing an Instagram live and creating the ramen noodles together.
We're gonna have a ramen cook-off.
So that would be fun. I think we talked about making like a little promo piece. Like we talked about, for the bamboo chopsticks, like we make those paper, what do you call it?
Yeah, the sleeves, the paper sleeves.
Paper sleeve.
Oh, beautiful.
That's wonderful.
So things like that. It's this book comes out in March, but we're already talking about it, and I think the sooner we can talk about it, the more time we have to prep. So it's been fun.
That's really cool that you're involved so much into the marketing, because you're designing all of this. Are you designing book plates as well? You're designing them.
Yeah, I mean the from these books I've done, I've learned that nobody's gonna throw a book party for you. Nobody's gonna do the event for you. Like you have to proactively do it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, Pat, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays the publisher doesn't do all that much marketing and publicity, unless you're a celebrity author or you've sold, many award-winning books. So I think especially as debut book creators, we really have to step it up on our own and, just create some buzz.
So it's probably really helpful that Shiho has more experience, with published book, with picture books than you do, Pat, and she can bring that experience to the table. Well, I mean, just with the marketing and the launching and stuff.
Pressure, Shiho, pressure. It's all on you right now.
It's all on you now.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a pro, but I think like how again the community helped so much to get me to this point. And you know, I'm part of SCBWI. I'm actually the illustrator coordinator for my
Yeah, I
region.
did.
Oh,
So, so yeah, that community talking about it, it really helped me to prep. So yeah,
Cool.
harass,
Yeah.
but we're gonna talk about marketing.
yeah. Yeah, that's the
Oh
part
yeah,
that
we
they
talk
like.
about SCBWI all the time on here. We're
Yeah.
always
Mhm.
And we're like we
biggest
practically
promoters,
work
I
for
think,
them.
of-
Well, I mean, honestly, they're a great organization. I mean, I tell you know, writer wannabes, you know, one of the first things you should do if you want to become a children's book author is to join
Mhm.
SCBWI. Not only do you meet, you know, amazing people who are like-minded, but you know, there's so many resources, especially now that they have all these online, you know, webinars and
Yes,
stuff.
yeah.
That's been a huge
Yeah.
help, I think.
They're
So,
wonderful.
That's very
mhm,
true.
Yeah. I love the online stuff.
mhm.
Are you planning to do a in-person book lunch and a virtual? Or are you just doing
Yeah, I
in-person?
think we're each doing in-person book launches on, you know, either end of the continent.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Shiho's
Oh,
in
you're on both
California and I'm in
separate coasts. That's
yeah.
like, yeah.
So and then we're gonna come together to do something
Oh, cool.
online.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's very
It's
good.
really neat.
It's actually so much better, I think, to have the illustrator and the author. So it's two brains bringing something instead of having to do it all yourself. And you're like, oh, I have to do it all. It's hard.
Share the love.
We did
Yeah.
actually meet in person in San Diego.
That's right. Yes, we
Oh,
did.
So that was cool.
that was
Yeah.
before the book or
Wonderful.
after?
It was
After
I'm
the
sorry.
book was
after.
done.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very cool. That's neat. You're like your team.
so
I
we can
guess.
get into. I love the whole marketing thing, and you guys are being very generous with the information and sharing. So I'm like blown away. I'm like, oh yes, that's a good idea. I'm taking notes.
Make
Because
it fun for you though. I think that's the important part. Like if it's not fun for you, then it shows, right? So
Yeah.
whatever you're
Yeah.
comfortable with and you're having fun, then go for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I haven't had the meeting yet, so I'm waiting to see what's happening on the other end before. So I think once that happens, things will feel a little bit less scary on my end. We'll get there. But one of the things you did do, Pat, was to join forces. We joined in Picture Book Jam, which that's where we met.
Yes, that's right. That's also a great marketing tool, I think. It's like banding together with other authors who are debuting in the same year. So that's what we did, and that's how I met Olga. But I think, you know, now there are also other groups who are more established authors who are getting together in group. There's one, I don't remember what they're called, but I believe there's one that a couple of authors and author illustrators I know are in as well. So it's not just in your debut year that you can, you know, utilize this mass effect, but continue with it like throughout your career.
Oh, that's
It's great.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very smart. I think it's a
Mhm,
great
it is. Yeah.
tool.
So
So, Pat, what other projects are you working on besides this, after this, or
too
in
many.
conjunction?
Well, so I've been working on some picture books. I have so I have one, not picture books, chapter books.
Oh,
nice.
So yeah. So I have one chapter book that's on submission right now. So fingers
Fingers
crossed.
crossed.
And then
yeah.
I have two other chapter books that are like, you know, in different phases of readiness. And I'm also working on a middle grade novel, like really, really, really early stages. That's going to be based on my dad's experiences during the Japanese occupation in the Dutch
Wow.
East Indies.
Oh,
during World War
wow.
II. So yeah, that's
Cool.
definitely a project that's very close to my heart. So
Yeah.
working hard on that. And I do have a couple of picture books as well that, I have been around for a while that I just need to revise. So
So you're
yeah,
not
that's
busy
what
at
I'm
all.
working on.
Very good.
No, and not forgetting my
Thanks.
Indonesian cookbook also.
Jeez.
Yes, do you have more? Did we mention at the beginning that she also has cookbooks? I think we
Yes,
did.
yeah.
Or we were chatting.
Yeah,
No,
I
but we
think
did
we
get it in
did.
the recording too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in your website, we were looking. Oh, Sunny, I think you're buying some, right? Oh,
I want to buy your the one that had kimchi on the cover.
Oh, the Asian pickles at home.
Yes,
You like
I
to
would
pickle?
love that. Yeah, I mean, we love kimchi. My husband is half Guamanian, so we shop a lot in Asian
Mm.
grocery stores, and we eat a lot of noodles and ramen, and yeah. So I love kimchi. So I was like, yeah, Asian pickles, that's right up my alley.
Very cool.
Shiho, and you want to talk about what projects you have going on next?
Yes. So I have technically 4 books, 2 books, both of them are 2-book series. But one is with, I'm looking at the notes because I don't want to say it wrong. One is with Simon Spotlight. It's an easy to read graphic novel, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Called Chi and Pepe, and Chi is a chicken who loves cheese puffs and cheerleading, and Pepe is a penguin that loves pirates and pogo sticks. So
Oh, that sounds so
very
fun.
energetic graphic novel. So I've been illustrating that. And then another set 2-book is a easy to read chapter book. This one's titled The Rescues. It's coming out from Red Comet Press. Written by, I should say the author for Chi and Pepe, Jennifer Fosbury, which is in the same agency, and we kind of tag teamed and submitted together.
That's a
Oh.
great idea.
Yeah, that's been so fun. I love Jennifer so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but the rescues are by Tommy Greenwald and Charlie Greenwald. Easy to read chapter books, and it's about the rescue dogs. So it's about the love and family and dogs.
Oh, that kind of rescue. Get it. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, we weren't really being clear, but yeah. It's
No,
about
that's sweet.
So you
Oh.
have all of these projects within the next 2 years of illustrating, more or less, or a whole year of illustrating, you think?
Yeah,
In
when
3
are these
months?
due?
In 3 months?
Yeah. So Gigi and Pepe, the first one comes out summer. Is it summer? Yeah, summer 2023. I'm working on the second one for that one. It has to be done by next month.
Oh.
And then The Rescues, the first book comes out in fall 2023. So we're just wrapping up the first book, and I'm going to be working on the second one hopefully next year, but I don't really know what the schedule is like. But yeah, it needs to get done. So yeah, busy.
Then
So
this
do you
question
have to
goes to
color
both of
in?
you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh,
No, go
I
ahead.
just
Again.
wondering, are they color as well? And if they are, do you color them in as well?
Yes.
Oh my
Are
gosh.
they
There's no
full color or is it
Oh
limited
wow.
colors? Okay.
There isn't a
Color.
separate colorist?
Just me.
Oh my gosh.
A lot.
Wow.
Are you working
Yep.
all digital?
So my method, I know there's a correct term for it that artist created, but I can't remember. It's basically traditional and digital combined. So for graphic novels, it's going to be Photoshop digital only, but for picture books, I use pencil, brush, ink brush, and then I do the shapes and lines. I scan them in and color it in Photoshop. So
Okay.
kind of crazy.
Well, that makes
What is
sense.
that? I think it's called Tradigital. Is that what we're calling it now?
There you
I think so.
Digital.
Something like that.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say that I really like the texture element, and no matter what brush I used, it just for me, it just looks very digital still. So I just rely on the pencil lines and the brush. Like I rough it up, and then that, like Hero's hair is a good example.
Oh, let me see. Let me pull the book back up again. I want to pay attention to this.
Like
Mhm.
these things,
Yeah.
like I can never get them with like digital like brushes.
There's a really
And
rough edge around his hair, just for people that are listening.
Same for the mom. Like, is that the mom or the sister? I'm not sure. When she's her stomach is rumbly. I see that it's like a shadow around it. So that's your original pencil line, right? Don't know what page is. The dog is about to take some of the pork.
Yeah. So that, like for this book, a lot of the shading and the details, like the cheek, I always like to draw cheeks with lines. So things like that, I use pencil lines, and it's just like 2B, pencil, and then I use the cheap, paper, like plain white printing paper. So yeah, that way I'm kind of keeping it loose and not being precious about the lines, because that kind of flow, I get really intimidated by the very expensive papers. So I don't use those.
Yeah, I like how energetic the line is in it. I mean, you don't have an outline on your illustrations, but the line within it, you can see it adds so much texture. It's really, really beautiful.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much.
And I'm looking at it really, really close in the computer, so it looks so awesome.
Yeah, that's why like the Chi Chi and Pepe, the graphic novel, was kind of a good challenge, because this, I have to say, the periodic table and the rocks and minerals, this is also Photoshop only, and it's done with, heavy outlines and flat colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it took a little bit for me to be okay with this and not touch it, because all I want to do is add lines and textures. And I had to learn to limit myself and be okay with it. And I think, that kind of art direction and early decision making really helped. And that was done by the art director. So I can work faster, because this has like 200 pages or whatever. Well, maybe not 200, 150 pages of illustration. And then the graphic novel also has like 60 plus pages. And you can't just,
Yeah.
For me, I didn't have the time. And, I know a lot of graphic novelists use this traditional medium. That's great. But like for me, it just still had that flow and control and the speed. So I'm trying to I think I'm okay with these two treatments. I don't want to call it art style.
Right.
So yeah, it's been fun, like going back and forth between these two treatments.
And it keeps you kind of fresh and not getting, so stuck in your way of doing things. It's got to be a little bit refreshing too, and pushes you, like you said, outside of your comfort zone. And so you
Yes, for sure. And I love that, pushing myself to like new mediums and experimenting. Like, in fact, I'm, getting into woodworking, and I have a gallery show.
Oh, wow.
And I have
That is so cool.
I'm thinking of doing like wood sculptures, and I'm like, yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You're an artist through and through.
Yeah.
I don't know when you find
Multi-talented.
time, but I think it's I don't know how you find time to do another thing on top.
Make sure you post them on your Instagram. I want to see.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
I'll do that.
And the question that I want to ask, this was for both of you, and it goes with this. You're both parents, and we are getting a lot of questions as to how do we do it when we have kids. Mine are high school age kids, so I remember when they were little, it's almost impossible. But how are you staying an active author and an active illustrator with children? Because we can say with life, and then people are like, oh, work and this, but children are a complete different a complete different challenge, right? Like it's a lovely challenge, but it is a complete different challenge. So how do you do it?
Well, my son's in middle school now. And I have to say, it's gotten a lot easier now that he's older. Like you said, Olga, when he was younger, it was definitely a challenge. I mean, I I feel so, so lucky to be able to, work from home and be a full-time writer. So, and that having a flexible schedule definitely helped. So, if there were things that I needed to attend to, or whether, when I needed to take my son to like his taekwondo lessons, I could. So, but then I would just have to make up the time like in the evenings or on the weekends. So, and I only have one kid, and I can't imagine how uh the creators with multiple children do it. So you definitely have to have the support of your
I have
spouse.
four.
And but above all, oh my gosh, Sunny,
They're
I don't know
older
how you do
now.
it.
That's how they're a lot older.
Yeah, it definitely helps when the kids get
Yeah.
older. They're more independent, and you can leave them to their own devices, literally to their own
Yes.
devices.
Yeah.
But above all, I always told myself that my family comes first, regardless, right? How much work you have to do, um, what deadlines you have. Family, it should always come first. So that's how I try to keep sane.
Yeah, I agree with Pat. So I have 8-year-old daughter. So she's in 3rd grade, and it's gotten better now that she's in school. So from 8 to 2 p.m. that's my working hours, and that's when I focus. So it's great to have a chunk of time. I also work at night from 9 to like, don't want to say it
until it gets done, right?
Yes. So yeah, I totally tried like the early morning thing, and that was not me. It's just I'm such a night owl, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's my time to work. And I think for me, staying organized with, especially when you have a book, deadlines and stuff, like just like really being on top of your schedule and kind of discipline yourself to that really helped me get work done. And then mentally I can be like, okay, I got to this point, I know I can still finish my book on time, and now I don't have to think about it, and spend time with my daughter. I also agree with Pat on the spouse thing, because we don't have any families close by. So it's just having my husband, he also works from home because of COVID right now. And his company still hasn't gone fully back to in person yet. So it really helped us for us to be flexible in that, like both parents are at home and taking care, and just my husband understanding what a freelance life is like really helped, because it's still work, but they can't really say, oh, but your house all the time, you can just take care, right? Like that's not it. Like you have to have a conversation and be like, okay, that's still my job, I need chunk of time, and then can you maybe collaborate on these things? So that's been super helpful.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of do the same thing. I think we have been at the point that we're not able to carve a lot of time, because your daughter's 8, and Pat, how old is your son?
He's 12.
12. When they get to high school, you become a driver.
Yeah, that's what we noticed. We had a great setup, and then now they need to be driven to all these places, and they don't have their licenses yet, and you're like,
there's that golden hour before they discover hanging out with friends and after school activities and whatnot, and you become the Uber. And it's like, oh my goodness. I want to please get your driver's license quick. Let's go.
As soon as my son turns 15, yes, he's going to go for a driver's ed.
So important.
Yeah, then we realize, oh my gosh, I've driven 4 hours today.
Oh my
Well,
goodness. 4
But
hours,
and
that's
then
crazy.
you have to, but then while they're getting their drive, like here, well, in Maryland, it's 60 hours. They have to have 60 hours of driving with the provisional license. So, I mean, with the
God.
permit. So just trying to fit in that 60 hours so they can get their license. You're like, okay. And all the other drive. Well, actually, we kind of combine those two. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's but it, we make it work, right? We'll do
Yes, we
15
do. We
Yeah,
do.
because we keep getting that question, and I was like, yeah, but there is no one answer. Like, you can carve the time. Having
Mhm.
a spouse, we don't have family here either. You don't have family, and so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But with little ones, I don't know how I could have done it. I couldn't do it back then, so I don't know. I'm looking for
Yeah,
an
yeah.
answer to that question that we're gonna get, and
Mhm.
hopefully we can help that listener. Um, what advice do we have? What do you have for someone starting out? Any or maybe the best thing that worked for you, the best advice that someone gave you. Just what would you say, or even to your younger self, what would you say? Whoever wants to
I
take that one first.
I can go. For for illustration and illustrator, I think or a children's book, specifically reading books, going to the library every week and read books, old and new. I think that's the number one thing, because it's helpful to learn different techniques and compositions and like all the technical stuff, but like also looking at looking at what other kids are like borrowing, like what they like, and then what I like, and just staying in tune with yourself and your love for your the children's book really helped me to stay motivated and inspired. um Draw from real life, go to parks and sketch children without being creepy, or like real life, like drawing. I still do this, like when doodling and just looking at the object, and like it doesn't have to be realistic, just draw, and then you find your voice that way. And then connecting with other illustrators, because it's so lonely when you're by
Mhm.
yourself, and really connecting and like talking about everything and anything really helps. So
Yeah.
that's my advice.
Yeah,
Good
I have
advice.
to totally agree with Shiho as well. As a writer and an author, your reading is definitely the number one advice I can give to any buddy who's starting out. And I believe it was Linda Sue Park who said that you should read at least 1,000 books in the genre that you want to write before you even begin writing.
Good.
It sounds like a lot of books, but and I would say, don't just read in the genre that you want to write. So
Yeah.
even though I write right now, I write picture books, chapter books, and I'm beginning to write middle grade. I also enjoy reading YA and adult big people books.
I know. I hate that too, because
I
it's
know. What are
always
they
something
called?
else. Young adults.
Because you can get inspired by ideas and the lively language. So it's not just limited to the genre that you're working in. So, and writing is also a very solitary job. So having a community of friends who are also like-minded and who also write is definitely a great way to you know keep yourself motivated and also to give you support.
Well
Yeah.
said.
Very nice. I agree.
Those are all the questions that we had for you. So if there's anything else you want to say or talk about, any shout outs to anyone or any projects or anything else you want to say before, because we did pretty good. We stayed right on the hour. I love it.
Ah.
Yay.
Well, we can talk about ramen for everybody. Everyone. That comes out on March 14th, right?
14th, yes, 2023.
There we
And
go.
pre-orders
So-
are already available?
Yes, they are already available on Amazon, I believe. Is it also available for pre-order on other sites, or is it just
Yeah.
Amazon?
No, if you go to the Athenium website, like it links you to all these websites. I think it's also available in Barnes and Noble. I think you can also pre-order it through your indie bookstore, right?
Oh, good. Okay, yeah. I always try and support, independent bookstores. So
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
available everywhere. Thrift books, Walmart.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Google your book. You can order it everywhere. Pre-order
Pat
it
doesn't
all.
have to. She has Shiho to do it.
That's right. Shiho, you're
I know
amazing.
Shiho is so on the ball. Seriously, she's so much more in tune with social media and all that. I'm like, no, she's great. No,
It's a good
definitely an
skill to
amazing-
have.
Yeah, amazing
I
partner
think
to have.
so.
So
I
I
think
cannot
I
complain.
had to write a book so that I can say, can Shiho illustrate it, please?
Well, actually, Shiho, I was talking to Sophia. Well, I was emailing her, and hopefully, we can do a sequel. Well, not really exactly not necessarily a sequel, but another food-related book. So we'll see.
Oh.
Hopefully.
Oh,
Fingers crossed.
Desserts.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have an idea for a picture book story that involves like cake.
Yes!
Yes.
Ice cream, pancakes, let's go!
It's done.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know. What are we eating after this? Yeah, final
Yeah.
question. What are you having for lunch?
Oh,
Oh.
good question.
I already had lunch, so I just had rice and veggies and chicken. That was very boring.
That sounds healthy though.
I
Fine.
don't know yet. I mean, Mom, we just like put things together and be like, hey, there you go. So
Leftover night.
Yeah, I usually scrounge leftovers.
Yeah, my lunches tend to be leftovers.
Yeah.
So
That's how
Yeah.
they get eaten. Someone's
Mhm.
got to eat
It's
them.
the
Yeah,
only way.
like,
You gotta
cannot
empty-
waste food. That's like
No.
Yeah.
number one. No.
Actually, a lot of the best recipes, at least is what my daughter tells me, when I don't know what to make and I need to empty the fridge, and I'm like, well, there's a little bit of rice and a little bit of noodles and a little some
Yeah,
leftover chicken, and I make quote unquote a casserole of some sort. And then my daughter goes like, what is this
Casserole
called?
or
I'm like,
fried rice are the best.
Yeah.
Are the best two ways to get rid of food in the
There's
fridge.
so many things you can put in
Yeah.
fried rice.
absolutely. And then you just make the egg and on the side, and it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
Do that.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, we get some recipes too out of this episode. I love it. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Oh, I'm sorry, you were going to say something else. We'll cut that.
Oh, no, I was going to say the same thing. Thank you. It's been great.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. We really enjoyed having you. Thank you very much. It was
All right,
lovely
well-
meeting you, Shiho.
Yes.
Bye, Pat.
Yes. It was lovely.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.
Take care.
Waving in front of my face so you can see it.